Hello again, YouTube. Welcome to another garden update video. Well, I haven't done one in a little while. I wanted to kind of update everybody on what's growing, what's not. So let's kind of take a walk through and see what we got. First thing in, of course, is our asparagus. Takes a while to get established, a couple years, but we're looking for pretty good production out of it for next season, so that'll be good. Strawberries we keep adding stuff to it. It has stopped producing strawberries, which is kind of weird, but it's been super hot and not a lot of rain lately, so we're having to hand water a lot of the stuff. What else we've got? My wife planted some of the some weird plants that she eats the leaves off of. I couldn't even pronounce it if I wanted to. And then in some of the extra spaces over here, she has planted some, I believe this one's acorn squash. This is another type of squash. This is a tomatillo plant. This is the larger of the four that we have. And this one here is the next size down, and it actually has a tomatillo growing right there. We don't know why the big one doesn't have one, but this one has one growing. So we're gonna see if how many tomatillos we get. There's a lot of buds that came on these, and on this particular plant as well as one of the other ones, the leaves are starting to kind of roll and curl. I don't know if it's a lack of water or something else in the soil. I'm trying to look at a lot of YouTube videos to find out. We have another tomatillo plant here and the fourth one here. Of course, we got squash plants in every available spot that we can get into. There is some squashes growing. This is another acorn squash. This squash here, it comes, it dies back, and then it comes back again, so we'll see how that one pans out. Here is all of our tall green onions. We only eat the tops of them typically. We're going to have to pull them probably and redo them. Then we've got all of this is different squashes. We try to keep all the vining stuff out of this particular part of the garden, but my wife has planted some in there anyway. We do have some acorn squashes growing in here. Sneak a peek in here at him. There's a nice big one there. There's a little baby one in there. And here's other squashes. My wife's already picked them for the day, but there's some other babies growing. A lot of flowering going on in there. And where there is flowers, there will be fruit right behind it. So we're looking pretty good here for a lot of these different squashes. Some of these vining ones over here are actually melons. As you can see here, we've got a cantaloupe and hopefully some more growing. Then we've got, this is our full row of leeks. We've lost quite a few of the leeks. There was actually 100 in this row all by itself, but these stupid mole crickets came through and took about probably 35% of them and ate them. Next row down, we've got tomatoes growing. Cherry tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. Gotta love them. A couple more tomato plants, some another. This one here is melons as well. This next row has beets. There's beets growing all down this row. My wife eats the leaves as well as the actual beet bottoms. Alright, this one here on the end that's taking over and climbing up the fence is another melon plant. And there are some melons growing in there. This is the remainder of our leeks going into our white onions for this section. And then the next row here is our red bell peppers. We have bell peppers growing on there. We have several on this one. There's probably 7 just on the small plant. This one here has about 5 or 6. The next one has about 4 or 5 as well. Same with this next one here. Then it goes on to the yellow bell pepper plants, and there are bell peppers on all of these plants as well. And some of them are getting bigger, and they are starting to get lighter, hopefully to turn yellow soon. And then the last row is our pickling cucumbers, which we are going to be pickling cucumbers today and canning them. Then we've got regular tomatoes, more cherry tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, and then our Romo tomatoes. Romos. And as you can see, they're starting to turn red. Romos. These are supposed to be Romos. They look kind of big to me, but there's some more Romos and some more cherry-ish tomatoes. Last plant back there is a portobello, or a poblano pepper, sorry. And then these two back here, if I can get in here, are the ghost peppers. We're growing them just for fun this year. Probably won't eat any of them. We'll probably just give them away to people of our church. We're not big on the hot, spicy, but I wanted to grow them because they did look like a kind of cool pepper to grow. The next ones that we have growing here, we have about 5 or 6 plants of dragon cayennes, and they are, hopefully this camera picks it up, but there is some red ones, some orange ones, some red ones growing, and they are going to be some good ones. We're thinking of picking the few red ones that we have and dropping one whole one into our jar of pickles just to add that extra kick, even though we do add some spiciness to them already. Up here we have our jalapenos. Some of each of our jalapenos. We got lots of jalapeno bushes, trees going right now. I have 3 here. Next row has white onions again. And then this one here is one of my favorites. First year this year doing these. And this is the Anaheims. And there's a lot growing on this little bush, which is great for us. Hopefully you guys can see those. It's kind of a glare on the screen when I'm looking at them. Some more jalapenos. Our second poblano pepper over there. Over here we have a purple bell on the very end. And then we've got regular green bell peppers, green bell peppers, green bell peppers, green bell peppers, green, and green bell peppers, which these are all supposed to be green, which they are. The next ones up are going to be yellow bell peppers, and we don't have as many growing on these ones right now, but there is some in there. Come around here so you can see. We do have bell peppers on the plant. They just gotta change color. Next row is string beans, or snap peas, or something like that. I don't know, they tasted pretty good in my salad the other night. And then potatoes, which are being eaten alive. All the leaves are being eaten away by some kind of beetle bug, which we hate. Over here is a regular cucumber, or an Asian cucumber, but it's like a regular salad type cucumber. And it's growing up the fence and along the fence line here. And it's growing right into this one, which is just a squash plant. And then we have more of the Asian plants where my wife eats the leaves. That she planted a bunch of those because she does them in different ways as well. And here is another dragon cayenne, and more jalapeno, more potatoes, more jalapenos, yes, more jalapenos, and yes, last but not least, these last 2 plants here are actually little lunchbox bell peppers. They're supposed to be the little colorful, like little orange ones. They kind of look like little pumpkins to me. That's why I picked them out. Nothing really growing on there too much that I can see yet, but there is some flower buds. So if they got pollinated, we'll be in luck. These next rows are going to be zucchini squashes. My wife's picked all of the ones for today that I can see there. This plant here is yellow summer squash. You can see a couple of, well, more than a couple, 2, 3, 4 of them growing there. And it's growing out from way over here, where it seems like it was trying to die out, but then it grew along here and it's still producing. So we're going to let it go as long as we keep getting stuff. More potatoes, more potatoes, more potatoes. This is our, still have blueberries, fig tree. These are our purple sweet potatoes and regular potatoes. It's kind of cool. They're actually flowering, which I've always liked, the little purple flowers. Artichokes. We've got, we don't know what it's supposed to look like, but we have 3 that look like they're doing really good. The center one, not so well. Our corn. This is ornamental corn. We counted about 14 or 15 corns on these stalks now. If you can see the fence is actually 5 feet tall, and then you can see how tall this corn has gotten. It's easily double that. It's got to be at least 10 feet to the top of that one there. And I think, like I said, we have about 15 corns on it. There was one yesterday that we were looking at that has this weird corn just growing on it, but all the rest look like actual corn, and some of them get pretty big. But this is when I grew up we used to call it Indian corn. Some people call it decorative corn, but it's the kind that you would normally see in a cornucopia. It's got all the multiple color kernels to it. Never grew it before. We're gonna see what it looks like. In here we've got some more melon plants growing all over this area here. You can see the different melons. We have a lot of them in here. Here's a baby one right in here, so you can see. There's a couple babies in there. There's a couple more in here, a little bit bigger. Melons, and pumpkins, and watermelons, honeydew melons. We have them all that we could possibly get from seeds we planted in these areas. We also planted some out in the yard here. A couple of these plants out in beyond the fence here. Even though we rototilled and added manure and stuff out there, we do have our fig trees that seem to be doing really good. The peach tree, not sure what the dealio is with that one there. Maybe it takes a couple years to get established good, but leaves fall off. Still looks healthy, other than a couple of the yellowing leaves and stuff. But it could be because of less water, or it's been really hot and humid. It's probably in the 90s right now, and it's only like 9 o'clock in the afternoon, or 9 o'clock in the morning, I should say. And it is really super hot and humid out here where we live. But we do have a few more squash plants and melon plants out here as well. But we are, like I said, we're gonna continue picking the vegetables that we have, and we'll be canning some pickles today, and I may bring you guys along for that as well. Talk to you later.